Olli Posti is here at the Biohacker Summit 2020 in Helsinki, becoming a resilient human being. Olli, you've been speaking here today about staying young. I don't think there's anyone in the whole world who doesn't want to know about this topic. How do we stay young?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to recognize or diagnose the problem, what actually makes us age. And I'm not really talking about like mitochondrial aging and things like that, just like in terms of overall lifestyle design. I think that's very interesting. I see that many people are chronically stressed, they're chronically hurried, and they're also chronically bored. And I think that's a surefire formula for some kind of brain damage, or, because, I mean, let's say that I spent 1 year, after 1 year of being almost chronically bored and constantly in a hurry. And after that, let's say I take my IQ now, and then after that kind of year, it's probably 10 or 20 points less, And so many people kind of passively grow into that kind of lifestyle. Because like, let's say when they're 20 or 25, they think that this is fun, but this is not going to be fun forever, because at some point we have to go to the work life, and then it's not going to be fun anymore. Life is not going to be fun, and it's going to be busy. So it's not going to be fun, it's going to be busy, it's going to be boring, but we'll just have to kind of like, if you go to the jail, you'll just have to, stay there for like 10 years. So that's kind of how many people see their like 30s or 40s. And that's a very bad idea.
I think chronic stress we talk about a lot, but why do you think we're so bored when we have more entertainment than we've ever had in world history?
Yeah, well, I mean, optimal is boring. So we want to optimize things, but optimizing things makes them boring. Like, for example, if I want to optimize my daily routines, then they become boring or whatever I want to optimize. So I think that's why it's not so simple. Yeah.
What would you say are your top tips for bringing more of that play into life and staying young and happy and playful?
Yeah. I think where it all starts, the absolutely most important thing is to see value, not through numbers, but through my own experience. So let's say that I do something that's very effective and very optimal, and the numbers look good. I mean, I get more followers and I get more money and things like that. But inside, I'm bored, and the passion keeps going down. Then the thing is to recognize that and give high value to our inner experience. I think that's where it's at. That's where it all starts. And that's something that you cannot optimize just by numbers or just by some outer standards or just by what somebody else said. Even what I say here is not really going to help you. You have to feel it yourself. Like, for example, I might discover that I get the kicks out of playing tennis. But that's a very bad instruction for somebody who doesn't really care about tennis. And then for somebody, and I'm not really only talking about hobbies. I'm talking about everything. Like, don't pay too much attention to all these instructions about how to live your life. I mean, take some ideas from there and then test and see what you really get the kicks out of, and what feels really like magical for you, and what keeps feeling magical. For example, for me, things like awesome people, they just keep feeling magical. Like, there's no point where it's just like, I don't like these cool people anymore. It just doesn't ever come. And also, freedom is something that I just keep enjoying more and more if I can maintain and develop that. By freedom, I mean opportunities to do cool things, but also freedom from, like, for example, bureaucratic burdens. So many people don't pay any attention to these things. So let's say the person is 20 years old, he or she is pretty much free. And then when he or she is 30 years old, they have more commitments, they have more bureaucratic burdens, they have more possessions. And then once they're like 40, they have even more and even more. And that's kind of one big reason why they get so old and why they get so bored and why they get those wrinkles and why they get those bags under the eyes and things like that. They think that if I have this one more thing in my calendar, or if I have this one more thing in my garage or wherever, I'm automatically better off. But then at the same time, they're like, oh, those younger years, like, oh, life was so good back then. How come it's not better now? Because you have had so many years to develop it and take it to where you want to take it. So society, school, media, any of that culture, they don't give us these instructions. They instruct us to develop our life kind of into a prison with golden bars or things like that. So I want to be very mindful of, like, I know that if I put more things in my calendar, and if I put more things in my garage and more things and whatever, and if I just take more commitments and I bear more burdens, then everybody will think that I'm better off. Everybody will think that I'm cooler, that I'm more high value. But I have to overcome that with my own decisions. And I have to kind of be a child again and be a beginner again, where my life is more like a blank slate without too many things stopping super cool things from happening and the magic from happening. There has to be space for the magic, and the magic keeps us young.
I think what I'm hearing time and again from different people at this Biohacker Summit is number one, the awareness, to just become aware of what am I feeling in this situation.
Yeah.
And only once you're aware, then can you take action to change it and to...
Yes. Because that's not the... Like, for example, I read in the main magazine, Helsingin Sanomat, there was this article recently that people should not trust their own feelings. It's very dangerous to trust your own feelings.
Shame,
so that's the programming that the society and the culture keeps giving us. And that's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. What would you say is the best advice when these responsibilities we have, you talked about bureaucracy, we have to do those things. Is there a way to do them without letting them take away the magic from our lives?
Yeah, for me, I want to be very mindful and very aggressive in my lifestyle design when it comes to that. For example, for actually many months, I've been working with my accountant to come up with a system where he can pay all my bills, he can send all my bills, and he can also get those, basically, so that I don't have to see any bills if I don't want to. I don't have to even look at any of my accounts if I don't want to. So it's been quite an investment. It hasn't been as easy as I was hoping, but those are the kinds of things that I want to invest in so that in the future my life is even more free. And then also, let's say that I start a new hobby, but then I see that there's too much hassle here, there's too much overhead. Then I just don't take it, at least in that form. Like, for example, in the beginning of the year, I started playing this kind of tennis series where you just arrange a match with somebody and then you put the result there and things like that. But the way to arrange those matches, it was quite burdensome. So then I just quit.
Okay.
So you can always quit, or you can make it so that all the bureaucratic burdens are that you're able to pretty much automatize those. For me, you're different, but for me, I'm very allergic to bureaucracy. I mean, to all those burdens, they take away my ability to do like some real deep work. Like, for example, if I want to write my next book, I don't want to. If I want to forget time, I don't want to remember what week or what month it is at some points of the process. So let's say that I have some bureaucratic small things that I have to do every week or every month. The price is too high. So then I just don't take those hobbies or those things, or I will like go through a lot to automatize those. So yeah.
I don't know if there's anyone in the whole planet who loves bureaucracy and paperwork. Maybe some.
Yeah. I mean, because oftentimes, I think in Finnish culture, people say that life, like, not everything about life is fun. And they just accept it like it's the word of God. No, I mean, as an entrepreneur, if something doesn't work, your job is to fix it. Your job is to innovate. So that's a really important lifestyle principle. Approach it like an entrepreneur. If you find something that doesn't work, something that gives you this value, something that gives you overhead, something that is not fun, that doesn't give you any value, takes away value from your life, recognize that and then innovate.
And maybe the hack could be as simple as playing happy music as you do that thing. Or someone here told me...
That's a good innovation.
Yeah. That when they clean their house, which is like one of the worst chores ever, they put some kind of slippery plastic on their feet and dress up and do the scrubbing of the floors or whatever the task may be.
Yeah, that's also one way to innovate. I can, when I'm like cleaning things up, I can listen to some interesting podcasts that I would, or audiobooks that I would anyway kind of want to listen to. And I can also take it as a kind of an exercise. It's something physical that you get to do, and it can be quite meditative also. Sometimes I clean up with my this like heavy vest on, so that it's kind of exercise like that.
Like exercise.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, or oftentimes we also do it with our friends. Like together with some friends. Or I might pay my roommate like 50 euros or 20 euros or something to do it for me. There's always room to innovate.
For sure.
It's much better to innovate than to just give up and say that things like, life is just not supposed to be always fun. That's a cop-out. That's not design. That's not innovation.
Life is definitely supposed to be fun. What's your number one tip that you want to leave with our audience that you think is the most important thing they need to know during these times?
During these times.
During any times.
Yeah. I think for me, the number one thing in life, basically, is to develop my own abilities to recognize what's good for me. So that, let's say that somebody is in a position of authority and they want to do business with me, then they're not automatically good for me. And let's say somebody is not in a position of authority, or they don't shout very loudly, or they don't advertise their brand that much, but I can recognize that they're very generous, they're very heartfelt, they're very passionate, they develop fast, and we are actually really good for each other. Then, things like that. Just always develop that ability to recognize what's good for me. And it's not an exact science. That's kind of the art of life. And so many people don't actively do that at all. They just kind of drift into things. And that's the worst. That's the worst. I mean, even in, for example, some conscious or even spiritual circles, some people say that you should always trust the guidance of the universe. So you should kind of, the right people and the right things just come to your life. And I tell them that, okay, let's say that I'm recruiting and 100 people send me their CVs. 99 of them are the wrong, even though the universe brought them to me, So the universe can throw me 1,000 things, and at least 900 of those I will reject, So that's something to really think about.
So know thyself, be true to thyself.
And be a little bit aggressive in, constructing the kind of life that you really want, that you really get the kicks out of, and that feels really magical to you. And also be a little bit aggressive in kind of screening everything else out, if you can,
I am the universe and co-creating with the universe. So taking an active role in playing with the magic of the world and creating the life.
Yeah, making space for the magic. That's very important for me, because sometimes I take way too many projects. So that's always important for me to remind myself. Make space for the magic.
Thank you, Olli Posti. Great to have you here with us at the Biohacker Summit. And let's, to all of our audience, get some of that magic and play in our lives. Keeps you young.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.